Now, while the war was being fought in the Far East, Bomber Command was fighting in the skies over Europe. They faced the deadliest odds. It's a staggering figure, but more than 55,000 airmen from Bomber Command were killed in service.
During the war, the men of Bomber Command were regarded as heroes, but after that, many of them felt their contribution to war went largely unrecognised. This is one veteran's story.
We're scared, really scared. I just think, gosh, I hope we come back from this. I don't want to die. We did a hell of a lot of damage. There's no getting away from it. And it haunts you.
The story of Bomber Command is one of bravery, sacrifice and controversy. Initially set up as a deterrent in 1936, the men of Bomber Command went on to fly more than 360,000 missions over Europe. Almost half of those who signed up were killed during the war.
It was a job that youngsters in those days just had to get down to doing. We didn't want the Germans coming over here and doing what they did in other countries. It was war.
Frank Tolley was 19 when he joined the RAF, spurred on by the sight of his hometown of Coventry after a devastating air raid by the German Air Force in 1940.
Seeing the damage and the smoking that was still, the fires that are still going on, I thought, hell's bells, if this war is going to be won, it's going to be won from the air.
By the age of 23, Frank had qualified as a bomb aimer and was the oldest of the 7 men in his Lancaster crew. Now 94, he's returned to Lincolnshire, where he was based, to see one of the few remaining Lancasters.
Had a few knocks, hasn't it? It just makes you, first of all, wonder, gosh, has 70 years gone by? Makes you think of the fellows that you flew with and wondering, you know, just what happened to them. We were a good team. I was the old man at 23. The gunners were only 18. Oh, it was a lot of fun. We went out when we were off duty. We would go down to a local pub and chat up the girls. We were young, you see. We lived as well as diced. Radio operator's position.
For the first time since the end of the war, Frank is heading back to his bomb aimer position at the front of a Lancaster.
It was a doddle getting in before, no trouble at all.
Frank, you're getting old, boy.
Take-off and landing. This would be my position. I was standing here, waving to the wafts down there that were seeing us off.
Every detail of this Lancaster has been restored to how it would have been when Frank was last here in the 1940s.
Oh, it is the same. I put these down, lights would come on. I would be over the bomb site here, and I would be calling to the pilot, left, keep it steady now. Target's running down line of the bomb site, steady. It's on the cross, pair switch pressed, bombs all go. And there it is. On our first raid, I remember when I released the bombs, I just watched them go down, and I was saying to myself, I'm breaking the 6th commandment, I'm breaking the 6th commandment. And suddenly I heard a voice say, when can we close these damn doors? It's bloody cold up here. That was my first operation.
Frank flew 22 missions in the Lancaster.
There were hard raids, some of them, quite long.
The raids proved devastating for both sides. More men died flying with Bomber Command than serve in the entire Royal Air Force today. 55,000 lives were lost. For decades, historians have debated the rights and wrongs of dropping thousands of bombs on German cities night after night. Many feel the achievements of Bomber Command were deliberately overlooked.
Bomber Command had a dirty name. There's no getting away from it. We ought to have had the Air Crew Europe medal, but what's a medal? You know, the thing is, I'm here.
The last time Frank heard these engines starting, he was setting off on a mission in 1945. It's hoped this plane will soon be able to fly again, but for now, just taxiing around this wartime airfield reignites old memories.
When the engine started and we started taxiing, bumpity bumpity bump, after 70 years, it's almost like a dream. It was quite a pleasant experience to be getting into a Lanc, knowing that you were definitely getting out, you weren't being blown out. Yes, it's good to see it. It makes you feel young again.
Now, earlier we heard from a veteran who wants to make sure the achievements of Bomber Command aren't forgotten. So we took him to see the new memorial to Bomber Command in Lincolnshire, which is taking shape. 94-year-old Frank Tolley had one of the most dangerous wartime roles. As part of Bomber Command, the risks were huge and fatalities were common. But many bomber boys like Frank have always felt that their sacrifices weren't fully recognised. Today, Frank's been invited to see how work is progressing on an ambitious project to honour all those in Bomber Command.
132 feet, eh?
This huge spire is the centrepiece of an £8 million memorial. It's the same height as the Lancasters' wingspan, and eventually these panels surrounding the spire will display the names of every person who died serving in Bomber Command.
It makes me think of all of the names that would have got on there. It had to be, but why? I'm sorry. Ainsworth, number of Allens too. It takes you back, it makes you realise the sacrificing and the futility of war. There should be other ways of settling disputes and to be for each other, not against each other.
The spire has been built to frame Lincolnshire's biggest landmark, Lincoln Cathedral. For the bomber crews leaving on missions, it was often their last glimpse of home.
You hope, as you passed over or nearby there, that you would see it a few hours later on when you returned.
So this is the plan of the site, and we're standing about here on this plan. Yeah.
The memorial has been designed by Stephen Palmer. Every part of the site reflects aspects of Bomber Command and the people who served in it.
But will they be on both sides of the panel? Or
they will, exactly, yes, that's right, they will. All the guys I've met have been fascinating. They always have very clear memories. They always have a very sort of relaxed attitude to it, and they downplay how important it was and how hard it was. They're always very matter-of-fact and down-to-earth. And it's just a long overdue commemoration of their effort, really.
The first phase will include the names of 26,500 men who lost their lives serving from the Lincolnshire bomber stations. By the end of the project, they hope to have engraved all 55,000 names into these walls. Just down the road from the memorial, this machine is running around the clock, laser-cutting thousands of names. And behind every one, there's a story of bravery.
It takes 6 hours per plate, which understandably is quite a long period of time to be engineering anything. It's really, really good to see somebody who was actually involved in the whole thing. I could see his face when the names were being cut. He looked really in awe. And yeah, we're all so proud to be involved.
Back at the site, the work continues. As well as the spire and memorial gardens, the International Bomber Command Centre will house a classroom, library and museum telling the remarkable story of airmanship, courage and sacrifice.
The two towers across there and this up here It'll be here for other generations to be reminded of the futility of war.